about my hometown, Philadelphia 76ers. They have a star player, allegedly. No, he's a star. Allegedly a superstar, but we can admit that he's a star, named Joel Embiid. And as of this recording, I'm recording this video in early November 2024. Joel has not played in any of the damn games for the Sixers. The season just started. He hasn't played in any of the games. And some people in the media, I'm talking like actual employed media folks, as well as social media, people like myself, have been questioning and challenging and bashing Joel Embiid because he's not playing in the damn games. And he came out, I just saw this yesterday on social, he was coming out saying it's not right for people to be coming at me like that and questioning my heart or questioning my commitment because I do so much for the city. That's the phrase that Joel Embiid said out of his mouth. He does so much for the city. My response to that is complete bullshit. That's complete bullshit. First of all, anybody in the media who's challenging and questioning what the hell is Joel Embiid doing is 100% correct, and they're doing what everybody else should be doing. First of all, this guy, what you do is play basketball. You're a professional basketball player. You're not a politician. You're not some kind of community activist. You play basketball. That's what you do. So what the hell is he talking about what he does for the city? You don't do anything. What do? Maybe you made some appearances, maybe you made a charitable donation, maybe you showed up at a basketball court or a soccer field every once in a while and the kids loved it and took pictures. Nobody give a fuck about that shit. You're a basketball player. Play fucking basketball. That's your job. Play fucking basketball. Your job is to play basketball. You're not doing your fucking job because you're not playing any of the damn games. This is a guy who, over the course of his career, I believe the stat that I just saw the other day, this guy has played in 46% of all the games that the Sixers have had ever since he's been on the roster. All the games they've had, he's played in 46% of the games. So every 100 games, he plays in 46. Like, are you joking? Are you serious that this is the guy talking about what he does for the city? Like, really? What you do for the city when you play in 46% of the games? And the Sixers, actually, before I even get to that part, this guy has notoriously been out of shape his whole career. Every postseason, when we get to the playoffs, Joel is not in shape. He looks tired at the end of pivotal playoff games. He ran out of gas in game. He's run out of gas in game sevens or deciding games. The games the Sixers end up losing multiple times. The Sixers have never made it past the second round of the playoffs the entire time Joel has been there. This guy campaigned, whined, and cried in order to get an MVP award. Finally got it, and he reacted emotionally as if that was the crowning achievement of his career. He never seems that emotionally engaged in losing the actual team games, except one time when they lost to Toronto, and I believe that was 2019 when Kawhi made that buzzer beater. He cried going off the court. He hasn't cried about losing the games since then, but he cried about winning the MVP. That's a problem. I don't want a superstar player on my team who's more emotionally engaged in MVP awards than he is in the team winning championships. That's a problem. And this happened as soon as Jimmy Butler wasn't on the team anymore. Jimmy Butler's the kind of player who I believe cares about actually winning the games. Actually, let me back up, because I live in Miami now. I'm from Philadelphia. It seemed like he did care about winning the games. He seemed like that type of player when he was in Philly. I don't know what he's doing now in Miami. I don't know if he's that same guy, but he was when he was in Philly. He cared about actually winning fucking basketball games. And they had to get Ben Simmons off of there, who didn't really care about, I don't know if he cares about basketball, period. And Joel Embiid, just this past offseason, I believe this happened this past offseason, the Sixers gave Joel Embiid a contract extension. He was already under contract. They extended the contract, gave him more money. It's probably somewhere, I don't even know what the number is. It's a lot of money. Let's just say it's at least $200 million or more that Joel Embiid has in his guaranteed contract, meaning if he doesn't even play, he gets $200 million. Similar to what they did with Ben Simmons. The reason why Ben Simmons basically quit basketball and claimed he had a mental health issue because he was too much of a pussy to face the crowd in Philadelphia who was going to bash him for the shitty performance he had in the playoffs that year. Y'all remember that? I think it was 2021. And now Joel Embiid comes into this season. He played in the Olympics. Wasn't great in the Olympics, but he played for the United States. And he gets to training camp and he wasn't in shape. How do you show up to the season not in shape when you have one job to do? Your only job is to play fucking basketball. How do you show up to your job not in shape? You work like 6 months out of the year. and the Sixers lose in the second round if they make it that far every year. So let's see, we got October, November, December, January, February, March, April was when the playoffs start. So if the Sixers happen to win a round, maybe he works 8 months out of the year. So let's say 7 to 8 months of work every year. That's the time you're getting paid for. And you don't get paid for the playoffs, but you get bonuses. But his salary is based on 82 game regular season. That's what his salary is based on. This guy has played in fewer than half of the games that he gets paid for. And he's talking about everything he does for the city and why nobody should be challenging him. And very few people in the media are pushing back on this. And this is complete bullshit. This is what when I talk about the softening of society, the feminization of society, this is what I mean. This is the feminization of society. The challenge with Joel Embiid, and I understand his position. He's got a contract for 9 figures of money, whatever the number is that he's got, is guaranteed. He's going to make the money whether he plays or not. What motivation would a guy like that have to make sure that he plays in every game? He doesn't have any. All right, that's the reason why he doesn't play in every game. He said himself in the offseason this year that if it was up to him, he would never play in back-to-backs again for the rest of his career. He said that out of his mouth. Now, whether it was taken out of context, of course it was part of a bigger conversation. The fact that he even said that tells you how weak our society has gotten and how little accountability anyone in the 76ers organization has. And they don't hold this guy accountable, which is why he's allowed to go out and say that. If he was serious about playing in every game and serious about being a professional, he would be doing it. He's not. And he would be in shape, finally. He would come to a season fully in shape and stay in shape the whole season. The NBA season is 82 games, and then let's say another 20 games of playoffs if you make it. Does Joel Embiid not know that? He's been in the NBA for like 10 years. Does he not know how many games there are in a regular season? Does he not have a trainer? Can he not afford a trainer? Why is this guy not in shape? How can you be having the same job for 10 years and you have yet to show up to that job once in 10 years, fully prepared to do the job for the entirety of the length in which you will be expected to do the job? How has he not been able to do that even one time his whole career? Somebody tell me. That's a lack of accountability from the people up top. And the problem is they keep giving him more money even though he hasn't shown up ready to do the job. So what the hell do you expect? What you reward, you get more of. The Sixers have rewarded Joel Embiid by giving him more money, even though he hasn't played in even half the games. He never shows up to the job ready to do the job for the entire season. He doesn't want to play in back-to-back games because he claims that's going to beat up his body. And he was talking about how he almost lost his vision because he got hit in the eye a couple years ago and he had to probably have some operation or something like that. He's acting like he's doing some kind of back-breaking, life-risking job. Dude, you get paid tens of millions of dollars to play fucking basketball, dude. You're not doing anything that is so life-altering. You're a fucking basketball player. You're an entertainer. That's what you are. Basketball is entertainment. That's the reason there's so much money in it, because it's entertaining. He's talking like he's literally doing something that is life-altering for society. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about, dude? And again, the part that I say is crazy is that people are sitting here and letting him talk like this as if it's accurate, the things that he's saying. These things that he's saying are not accurate. In the world that we're in today, especially some of you who are younger, let's say you're under the age of 30, many of you hear Joel Embiid say things like that and you actually defend the nonsense that is coming out of his mouth. Oh yeah, well, he almost lost his vision because he got hit in the eye a couple years ago. Let's just say that that's true. So the fuck what? You play basketball. You got hit in the eye playing fucking basketball. And you're making how much money playing basketball? Let's say you lose your vision and you can't play basketball anymore, or whatever it is that you can't do anymore. You lost your vision. All right, you can retire. All right, ain't like you gotta go get a job. You got a guaranteed contract for $200 million fucking dollars. All right? Why is he's talking as if, again, he's putting his life on the line. There are people who wake up every day and are really struggling and doing real work, real back-breaking labor stuff that's not fun, not entertaining, and they ain't got no fans and making way less money than him, and he's talking about what he does for the city. What the fuck have you done for the city? You haven't done anything for the city. You play basketball, and your main job playing basketball, y'all ain't even that good. To win the championship in the NBA, you must win 4 rounds of postseason play. First round, second round, conference finals, NBA finals. The Sixers have never won more than 1 round with Joel Embiid as the main guy. They've never won more than 1 round. And he's talking about what he does for the city. Somebody explain to me in the comments here, what exactly has he done for the city? I'm from Philadelphia. I don't know what he's done for the city. Maybe I'm missing something. What has he done? Because the only thing he should be doing is his main job, which is winning games. Everything else is secondary. And the biggest problem here is that there's no accountability. I'm talking about organizational accountability with the Philadelphia 76ers, period. If they had ever had any accountability within, then this bullshit never would have started, and somebody would have held this guy accountable, and they never would have let Jimmy Butler go, because Jimmy Butler would have been the type of person to hold Joel accountable, like, yo, playing the fucking games. This is your job. Do your fucking job. Same thing with Ben Simmons. Someone would have held both of these guys accountable back then when the shenanigans first began. Since nobody did it, again, whatever you reward and you allow, you're going to get more of. This is what has happened. They set this up to be this way, and they got exactly what they asked for. This is exactly what the Sixers and the fans of Philadelphia 76ers, I'm sorry, this is exactly what y'all have tolerated. And if none of y'all is going to hold this guy accountable, well, again, what the fuck reason does he have to change? He doesn't have any. And societally, I'm talking on a bigger picture, Joel Embiid is not my employee. I don't write the paychecks for the money that he makes. And at the same time, there was a time, again, this is why I mentioned those of you who are younger, you may be defending this, because this is the era that many of you have grown up in. But there was a time when professional athletes took pride in playing in every game. There are still some out there. There are still a few athletes who still play, who do take pride in playing in all the games. I know there are a few. But when this guy, who's been given the MVP award, the MVP award in the NBA is basically, for all intents and purposes, it's the best player in the league award. So he got the award for basically being recognized as this guy is the best player in the NBA this year. He got that award, right? Most of you would agree with, generally, that's what the award means. And he campaigned to get that. And then the Sixers go lose in the playoffs again. And he, again, doesn't seem as invested in let's win games, let's win championships, as he was invested in getting that MVP trophy, as he's invested in his personal accolades and the personal things that he gets. And this is why my hometown Philadelphia 76ers, even though they have a good amount of talent on their roster, they got Joel, they have Maxey, who's a very good player, made the All-Star game last year. They have Paul George, who was an All-Star himself. The problem is, I don't see this team getting past the second round, even if they even get that far this year, simply because they have no leadership. Who's the leader on the Sixers? Who's their leader? It ain't Paul George. We know Paul George is not a leader. Paul George is a very good player. He's not a leader. Maxey's a very good player. He's not a leader. Joel Embiid, very good player, not a leader. They got three really good players, no leadership. So when they go up against a team that actually has leadership, how are they going to win? You think they're going to win just because they got more talent? Nope. Not at the pro level. Maybe in high school. Maybe in college. Maybe in street ball. Maybe at Equinox where you play at. But in the NBA, no. You can't win just with talent. Because if you can win just off talent, there's a whole bunch of NBA rosters that should have won a whole lot of games because they had talent. Remember when Oklahoma City had Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony on the same team? There's a lot of talent. How far they go? Remember when the Clippers the other year, they had Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. All these guys from California, all that talent. All right, how far they go? All right, talent alone is not enough to win a championship in the NBA. It's not enough to even get close to a championship just off talent. You got to have some leadership. The Sixers have no leadership. The reason they have no leadership is because their organization has no internal accountability. And when there's no internal accountability, you can have as much talent as you want, you will continue to come up short. And this is a bigger picture conversation. It's not just about basketball. Those of you who are basketball fans, y'all get all of this. But if you don't play basketball, you understand this. There has to be accountability. And the accountability starts, first of all, it starts in the fucking mirror. If you're a player who is going to go around and campaign for awards individually, you better make sure you show up for the fucking team. This guy doesn't do it. And he has the nerve to say the things that he's saying, and he has fans that are going to co-sign him. And I believe Embiid is a very good player. He might be, I saw this in an article someone wrote yesterday, he might be the most talented, as far as the big guys, he might be the most talented big man playing in the NBA right now. I wouldn't argue against that. If someone said he was, I would say, I get your point. I see where you're coming from in saying that he might be the most talented big guy playing in the NBA. But if he's not being held accountable and he doesn't hold himself accountable, well, that's a sign of mental weakness. When there's no mental toughness at the top, you ain't winning no championship. It's not going to happen. All that talent ain't winning the championship. There's no mental toughness up top. If he's the guy, he's the best player on the team, and he has no mental toughness, you ain't winning no championship. I'm sorry, Sixers fans. It'll be entertaining to watch. And when Paul George comes back from his injury, and when Embiid, if he actually plays in a fucking game, that'll be interesting to watch. He's a very good player. But but y'all ain't winning no championship, not with him at the top. Ever. Sixers are not winning the championship with that guy as their best player. That is not going to happen. Someone has to come in and be better than him, or they got to let him play out the rest of his career as much as he wants to play, since we know he likes sitting out games so he can stay healthy, quote unquote, and not risk his life playing basketball, whatever the hell he was talking about. I'm sorry, Sixers fans. I'm sorry to disappoint you with reality, but I'm not telling y'all anything you didn't already know. I'm just saying it out loud. You think I got this wrong, you can let me know. Work on your game, university. You want to have some real